What's going on, you guys? It is Isaac. I am back for another video, so let's get straight into this. As you can tell, now I have a webcam and I also have a new microphone. I'm gonna have this up and running soon too, a brand new microphone. I just do not have the right cables for it, so I'm working on improving the quality of these videos for you. But let's get straight into this horror story about Edmund Kemper. Viewer discretion is advised. This is the story of Edmund Kemper, a serial killer active between 1964 and 1973, remembered for his very tall height and his intelligence and his IQ of 145, making him one of the largest and intelligent serial killers out there to this day. Edmund was born December 18, 1948, residing in Burbank, California. He had an unsteady upbringing as he always would get into it with his alcoholic mother. When Edmund was just 10 years old, his mother forced him to sleep in the basement, away from his sisters and his mother, as they feared for their safety. His first signs of troubles was when he buried his cat alive at the age of 10 years old, and at the age of 13, he murdered one of these cats with a knife. He ended up living with his grandparents sometime later in his teenage years, as he was a troubled teen, and at the age of 15 years old, on August 27, 1964, he ended up shooting and killing his grandmother in the kitchen, and soon after shot and killed his grandfather, who was arriving home. He then hid the bodies and called his mother, explaining he did it to see what it felt like. He was then handed over to the California Youth Authority, which concluded he was a very intelligent teen with an IQ of 145, but he also had schizophrenia. He was later sent to a maximum security facility for mentally ill convicts, but that is not where the story ends. In 1969, Edmund was released at the age of 21, and despite the prison doctor's recommendations to not live with his mother, he did end up living with her and moving back in. He then attended community college for a time and also had odd jobs before he found employment with the Department of Transportation in 1971. He applied to be a state trooper but was denied. He even hung around some state troopers, and one even gave him a training badge and a gun. And in the same year, Edmund ended up in a car accident which left him unable to work, and his future pursuits would be focused on much more sinister activities. With the settlement money he got from the accident, he bought a new car which he stalked his prey with. He targeted female hitchhikers and stored tools in his car he would later use for his murders. At first, Edmund would pick up female hitchhikers and let them free, but soon he had his first victims when he offered a ride to two Fresno students, being Marianne Pesky and Anita Luschetta. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Their family soon noticed them missing and filed a report. Nothing would come from it until soon after, as Anita's remains were found in the woods. Mary's remains were never found. They were murdered by stabbing and strangulation. Edmund later recalled he would take most of the bodies back to his apartment and remove their heads and hands and did necrophilic activities. Later that year, Edmund would murder another victim in the same fashion, and a year later in 1973, he would shoot and kill a hitchhiking female, which he would toss the body in the ocean. Those remains were later washed up and found. He would continue killing by stabbing, strangulation, or shooting them. Then he dismembered their bodies and disposed of the evidence. And in April 1973 was when his killing spree came to a halt after he killed his last two victims, that being his own mother and her friend. He killed his mother after an argument and ended up striking her in the head with a hammer and cutting her throat. He then decapitated her and amputated her hands, and then he removed her larynx and shoved it down the garbage disposal. He then called his mother's friend to come over, and she did come over, and he strangled her to death. Then fled the area the next day, and when he reached Colorado, he phoned the police and ended up confessing to his horrific crimes. At first, the police did not believe this confession until he brung them to the bodies. He was then charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder, and in October 1973, he was found guilty of all charges. Edmund stated that he should be tortured to death, but instead he was sentenced to 8 concurrent life sentences. As of today, Edmund Kemper is still locked behind bars at the age of 72 at the California Medical Facility. He has 10 confirmed victims he later confessed to. He also confessed to necrophilia and even dabbled in cannibalism to keep them, quote unquote, as my possession. There's so much more gruesome detail that I did not even go into for the sake of YouTube's guidelines and the audience, as the details of his crimes are twisted, sick, and downright demented. You can find even further details online, as there's a lot I didn't touch on, but be warned, you need an iron stomach to stomach this disgusting, depraved behavior he was acting on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want more stories like this, let me know. I will continue making stories like this. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all later. Have a great day. Peace.